হেল্ল' এভৰিৱান, ৱেলকাম টু এনলাইটেন ষ্টাডি পইণ্ট। তো এই ভিডিঅ'টোত আমি ছ'চিয়েল ছায়েন্সৰ হিষ্ট্ৰী চেপ্টাৰ গ্ৰ'থ অফ ইণ্ডিয়ান নেশ্যনেলিজিম সেই চেপ্টাৰৰ লং এনচাৰ টাইপ কুৱেশ্যনছবোৰ লৈ আনিছোঁ। তো ভিডিঅ'টো ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰাৰ আগতে মই সকলোৱে ক'ব বিচাৰিছোঁ যে মোৰ চেনেলটো ছাবস্ক্ৰাইব কৰি দিব। তো প্ৰথম কুৱেশ্যনটো, ৰাইট ব্ৰিফলি হাউ দ্য ৰিভল্ট অফ 1857 লিড টু দ্য গ্ৰ'থ অফ ইণ্ডিয়ান নেশ্যনেলিজিম। তো এনচাৰ কি? The revolt of 1857 was to a great extent a bid by the Indians for political freedom. The rebels wanted to drive the British from India and make the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah to their actual ruler. Though this revolt failed, its result was far-reaching. The revolt of 1857 marked the beginning of the national awakening in India. The British administration introduced Western education and learning to India. Western education aroused among the Indians a new spirit of awakening. Reason replaced blind faith and a change in outlook took place. They not only acquired the capability to judge the exploitative nature of foreign rule, but at the same time developed a sense of responsibility towards their society, race, and country. This new consciousness gave birth to a new India in the 19th century, just as a new Europe was born as a result of the Renaissance during the 16th century. Question number 2. Write the main objective of Wood's dispatch. In 1854, Sir Charles Wood, President of the Board of Control, presented the first comprehensive plan for the spread of the modern system of education in India. The Wood's dispatch showed a clear order of education from elementary school to high school, college, and university. He encouraged vernacular at the school level and English at the university level. Scholarships were to be presented to meritorious students by the government. A system of grant in aid was laid down to encourage the growth of the number of education institutions. Wood also recommended the establishment of the education department in all provinces. The British administrator have conceived this new system of education to create a permanent class of humble, subservient India, always ready to serve the interests of the British administration. Question number 3. Write about 6 important reasons for the growth of the Indian nationalism. The 1 number point ki, the influence of Western education was a potent factor in the part of Indian nationalism. The British opened the gates of Western education to the Indians, which strained the Indians' mind to face the challenge of British imperialism. Do you know a point? As a result of Western education, India witnessed the growth of modern political ideas and organization. During the later half of the 19th century, there was a growth of political association in India. 3 point, the development of modern means of transportation and communication like roads, railway, and post and telegram services help in the growth of nationalism. The modern means of communication broke the isolation and forgot a link between the people live in distant area. Second point, the part of the Indian National Congress in 1885 gave form to Indian nationalism. The foundation of the Indian National Congress was laid with a pledge to work for the interests of the people and the country. First point, the Aligarh College established by Sir Syed Ahmed raised the level of political consciousness among Indian Muslims. After the INC, the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College was the next national organization that made commendable contributions towards the growth of nationalism in India. So, another point, the latter half of the 19th century witnessed the rapid growth of vernacular newspaper in India. This newspaper voiced the sufferings of the native people and exposed the evils of British imperialism and the newly developed nationalism reached the common people throughout the country. Next question. Write at least 4 effects of the introduction of Western education in India. 1 number point, Western education opened to the newly educated Indian to floodgate of new ideas. Through their writing, they began to convey their ideas of liberty and equality to the masses. They come in contact with the liberal and radical thoughts of great political thinkers like Rousseau, Voltaire, Burke, Macaulay, Spencer, Locke, Bentham, Mill, etc. 10 point, they were inspired by the idea of nationalism, democracy, and self-government, which profoundly affected their thinking. 7 point, their morale was boosted by the heroic stories of the American War of Independence, the French Revolution, the unification of Germany, and the unification of Italy. Discuss the impact of Western education towards the growth of Indian nationalism. Western education opened to the newly educated Indian the floodgates of new ideas. They come in contact with the liberal and radical thoughts of great political thinkers like Rousseau, Voltaire, Burke, Macaulay, Spencer, Locke, Bentham, Mill, etc. They were inspired by the ideas of nationalism, democracy, and self government, which profoundly affected their thinking. Their morale was boosted by the heroic stories of the American War of Independence, the French Revolution, the unification of Germany, and the unification of Italy, inspired by ideas of Mazarin, Garibaldi, and Cavour. The educated Indians became ready to work for national unity and the liberation of the country. Through their writing, they began to convey their ideas of liberty and equality to the masses. The patriotic poems of Ishwar Chandra Gupta, the slogans of Vande Mataram in Bankim Chandra's Anand Math, and Iqbal's Sare Jahan Se Acha rose a strong sense of nationalism among the people. Sixth question. How did the development of transport and communication lead to the growth of nationalism in India? The development of the modern means of transport and communication like road, railways, post and telegraph services helped in the growth of nationalism. The necessities of administrative convenience, military defense and commercial exploitation, particularly dumping of British manufactured goods in India market and the supply of raw materials from India to feed the British industry prompted the British to initiate plans for the improvement of the means of transport and communication in India. In 1839, the Grand Trunk Road was constructed between Calcutta and Delhi. This road was extended to Peshawar during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie, connecting the major cities, port and markets of India with it. In 1883, railway network were started between Sodia and Dibrugarh in Assam, keeping in mind trade opportunities in tea. In 1839, telegraph was laid between Calcutta and Diamond Harbour by private sector initiative. In 1851, electric telegraph system was bought under government sector during the period of Lord Dalhousie, and in 1854, a line of 800 miles was erected from Calcutta to Agra, which was the first electric line in India. The modern means of communication broke the isolation and forgot a link between the people living in distant area. Question number 7. Discuss the contribution of Raja Ram Mohan Roy in the growth of Indian nationalism. Number 1 point. He was a forerunner of Indian nationalism. He practically laid the foundation of all principal movements, social, religious, and political, etc., in India to fight for the and advancement of the country. 2 point, he founded the Brahmo Samaj to purge Hinduism of the abuses that crept into it. He deeply studied and reinterpreted the, the ancient Hindu scripture and vehemently attacked polytheism and idol worship. 3 point, he did not confine himself only to the reformation of the Hindu religious but contributed equally towards the social reformation and spirit of education. He renounced casteism, child marriage, purdah, polygamy, and gave social recognition to widow remarriage and intercaste marriages. His campaign for the abolition of sati is of great significance in Indian social history. Pastor point, he approached the British to bring about liberal reform in the administration and advocates for the separation of the judiciary from the executive and also the codification of civil and criminal law. তো এই 7টা কুৱেশ্যন আনিছোঁ। নেক্সট ভিডিঅ'ত আমি কুৱেশ্যন নম্বৰ 8ৰ পৰা 15লৈকে লৈ আনিম। ধন্যবাদ।